Hi everyone. I'm Ryan. I have the blessing of being John's best man today. Real quick, you're all probably tired of being thanked, but thank you for coming, especially to the parents of the bride and groom, Lisa, Doug, Mike, Michelle. I know how much you all contributed towards making today happen and so special for John's here. And on behalf of all those attending, it's been a pleasure, so thank you so much. Me and John, I think it's safe to say we go way back. Just about as far back as you can go. Almost 30 years to when we were just a couple little toddlers running around when our older sisters were in preschool. And believe it or not, John may have been a little averse to me at first. His mom told me this story where his first thoughts on me, he said to her, "He's a baby, he still wears diapers." And in my defense, I was 8 months younger, but I learned this really juicy tidbit yesterday when Doug was speaking, that John had no business being out with diapers. He had just already, learned how to negotiate with his mother. Yeah, so John, I hope it's not overdue 30 years later, but thanks for giving me a chance. We want to be standing here today. As we grew up through elementary school, me and John we've been close since we first met, and the Lindeman house was like a second home to me. I was there all the time. Me and John, we were pretty normal kids. We loved playing sports, particularly around hockey. We loved a good late night video game sesh, 1 hour time guardian, if you know, you know. And also, a great memory is all the times Doug would drive us down to the Blockbuster store. He'd find his movies, we'd find them for ourselves. And to this day, John still definitely loves a good movie binge. I don't think I've ever met someone who can crush 3 or 4 seasons of a TV show like him either. It was maybe my one pet peeve about living with him is it's almost impossible to find something to watch with him because it seems like he's seen everything. It really does. And he's pretty busy these days with the life he's building, but there was a day when he could sit in the basement watching Netflix, and he would see that Are You Watching screen more than he'd see the sun. But yeah, so through elementary and junior high school, we went to a private school, so it was great, but we were maybe kind of in a little bit of a bubble. Then 9th grade and beyond, we step out into the public school world. And I think that's where I see John really growing into the person he is today. All the things that I admire about him. To name a few, which I think I've noticed a lot of other people have mentioned these things in their speeches as well, so I don't think we can all be wrong. But yeah, John is someone confident and driven. He's someone with integrity who often leads by example. Someone who is very generous with his friends, and one of the smartest and hardest workers I know. And now, this brings me to a few years ago when John and Sierra first started dating. So I think it was about the time they'd gone on a dozen or so dates. And Sierra had made this habit of always bringing over plenty of candy and baked goods for John. And one day I noticed it was like a particularly generous spread. And so, being a guy friend, I had to kind of rip him a little bit for him, asking what's the occasion, and he couldn't help but take the moment to respond very sincerely. That he's like, man, she's just so nice. I really like her. She's perfect. And I think what makes it so memorable is not just the words, but the way he said it. It was giving like a teenage girl gushing over her crush. I think I saw him melt right then and there, and it's something I never saw in 30 years. And his words were he really liked her, but I think at that point, I knew he already loved her. Also around that time, he couldn't wait to bring Sierra over to his parents for dinner to introduce her. I was a little worried. I didn't want you to scare her out by coming on too soon. hopefully I think you were pretty head over heels by then too. And then there's a story about the first time I went and did something fun with John and Sierra. We went to Canterbury Park, a nice sunny day, watch some horses, maybe do some small gambling, which me and John never been big gamblers. We're not lucky. We've learned our lesson. But it's funny how Sierra shows up and John puts a few dollars down and wins the longest odd bet, 200 to 1. And I think it was kind of a sign to me that Sierra's bringing some luck back into your life. And she's your lucky charm. And then finally, soon after that, they decided they really wanted to test this relationship, stress test it, and they decided to go to Italy together. Things went great. I got the notice that my lease wasn't going to be renewed shortly after. But I got a chance to talk with Sierra after I got back, and I asked her, what did you learn about John on this trip? And no hesitation, the first thing was that he can be really passionate, which is absolutely true, and an amazing quality, especially to have in a partner. The catch is maybe if you've had a couple of beers with him, you might get stuck in a corner with a full-length lecture of the shortcomings of Minnesota sports teams. Or maybe the nuances of how to properly conduct a financial statement audit. In excruciating detail, I would say. But in all seriousness, John, I'm so grateful for your friendship over all these years. It's amazing to look back on all the memories and the milestones that we've shared together. And now I get to be your best man and your biggest milestone yet. And I know that I will continue to be there for you and Sierra, and likewise you for me. And I also know there's a particularly big milestone coming up in less than 9 months. It's not exactly a secret, but for those who didn't know, John and Sierra are expecting, and I'm really excited for them. So, in closing, John, I just want to say you've done good. You've done real good. And I'm so proud of the person you have become. And I'm excited to see where this next chapter of your life will take you, Sierra, and the family you're building. I love you. You're a brother to me. I will always have your back. And Sierra, that goes for you too now. Now, everyone will join me in raising a glass for a toast to newlyweds. To John, for finding someone who matches your passion, your loyalty, and your heart. And to Sierra, for finding someone who will always show your love, no matter what. Together, you two are going to be special. Cheers to the Lindemans.